Today is currently 6 April 2026, a Monday, and it's almost 10 past 4 right now. So let's see how our previous week's analysis went. Let's start with DXY. So on DXY, last week on, let me go to the Monday. Yeah, this is Monday. So on Monday, we saw this and we anticipated for the market to move lower before pushing up. I marked it with the arrow. So it didn't go down, it went down a bit this week, but it didn't sweep liquidity and move into our point of interest. So this for order blocks is still valid. Let's actually move this to here, something like this. Yeah, so still looking for this to happen. Then let's move on to our currency pairs, to USDCHF. Yeah, let's go there. Let's go to Monday. Yeah, Monday's previous weeks. We wanted for it to move down before pushing up, but it already pushed up and made this little bit of a retracement, but it did not sweep our liquidity. So let's see what's happening on the higher time frames and see if we can find a new point of interest, because I don't think that one is still gonna push. So let's move these. Monthly high. Okay, so let's take the fib, let's push it all the way up. Let's go to our entry time frame. So on the 4 hour, we can see this clear for our order block. That's what we're gonna use as our new point of interest. So DXY was a buy setup, USDCHF is also a buy setup, so direction has to be the same, so that's good. And right here we have our liquidity. Still hasn't been swept from 2 weeks back, has not been swept, but it's something like this. Let's go to USD CAD. There was no setup in USD CAD for last week, so let's skip that. Let's go to EURUSD. On EURUSD, let's go to the Monday before we do this. Okay, let's use, okay, that's Monday. This is previous week's Monday, and we saw this setup for that week. For our order block that's in our OTE, there's the setup that has not played out yet, which is still valid, that we saw from a week ago. So we're not going to change anything. We're just going to move the liquidity here so that we know that liquidity has to be swept before moving in there. So GBP/USD is our next one. On GBP/USD, I saw this daily fair value gap. I didn't use the 50% because I saw that it was starting to push, but this is the setup I saw for that time, and it's still valid, still pushing down. I don't think I'm going to change anything here, but it might reverse and push back to the stop loss or break even. We'll see. But that's it for the currency pairs for this week. So EURUSD and USDCHF, those are the two setups that are pretty clear. Yes, on gold, I found the point of interest by marking the monthly high, monthly low as always, then just on the daily, going to the fib, pushing it like this. So when we adjust it on the 4 hour, we can see that the fair value gap that I marked is in the OTE. 50% of the fair value gap is in the OTE. So we'll see how this setup plays out. So yeah. In terms of Bitcoin, I think I should just analyze what I see for now. It's pushing up. Let's do this. Monthly high. And obviously this is our monthly low. Yeah. So on Bitcoin, the market structure shift happened. Okay, I don't think there's a clear market structure shift. Let's use the weekly high and weekly low and see what happens. We'll see a market structure shift once price moves above this monthly high and just starts pushing up. So once it pushes above this, it's gonna be our market structure shift. And once it pushes above this previous month's high right here, we're gonna look for bullish setups. So I think that's it for this video. That's all I see for this week. So we'll see what happens for the rest of the month.